So you want to be a superhero? Hi, my name is Catalano, and I have been having fun editing superhero takeoff effects for a couple of years now. But this time, we are going to have fun learning how to do a superhero landing effect. But first, I want to thank Steve from Unexplored Films. He put together a superhero landing effect tutorial using After Effects, and I must say it was pretty awesome. Once I saw it, I knew I could recreate something similar using Final Cut Pro. Let's get started. There are 7 parts to this video that I will break down for you: location, setup, superhero landing, filming, editing, special effects, and sound design. Number 1. Location. Location is everything. Yes, I could have filmed this superhero landing anywhere, like an open field of grass, but I felt it was really going to look better if I made the background interact or be affected by the superhero landing. Being that we are all in quarantine still, I knew it was best to film this scene using my house as the background. I was originally going to film it in the back of the house, but aesthetically, I knew it would look better in the front. Plus, the front of the house gave me more options to move things in and out as I saw fit. Number 2. Setup. I set up the scene on an angle to get a nice perspective of the house and tree line, which gave the overall scene a nice frame. I thought the trees and bushes were situated in such a way that I could use them to interact to the superhero landing. In addition, I set it up this way to allow a little more room for my daughter to run and jump into her superhero landing. Next, I added in the items that I wanted to show falling or flying away, like my wife's bike, a planter, and my daughter's soccer ball. I also added in a marker so I knew exactly where I needed my daughter to stay behind. In addition, I used the marker for my start and finish position for the camera tilt. Once I was done with editing, I removed the marker in Final Cut Pro. Number 3. Superhero landing. Before I started filming, I wanted to have my daughter practice the superhero landing pose and attitude. I quickly realized that my decision in doing so was well worth it, as there were a lot of fun flubs along the way. It's not easy being a superhero. Anyway, I used my daughter Anjali to perform the superhero landing because she is the one who is usually flying through the house both literally and figuratively, if you know what I mean. Once I felt I got what I was looking for, I told my daughter I thought it was perfect, and she did a great job, so I let her get back to being a 9-year-old girl. Number 4. Filming. Now, even though I filmed my daughter doing her superhero landing, it was the camera lift, trees moving, bike falling, soccer ball flying away, branch coming down from the tree, and planter dropping perfectly on its base that was really going to sell the superhero landing. First thing I did was film the camera tilt shot I wanted. In order to get this shot, I started at my daughter's landing position and then quickly tilted the camera to the sky and held it for several seconds. The idea is to take this clip and reverse it so it appears the camera started in the sky and landed with our superhero landing. After accomplishing that, I filmed the background items I wanted to be affected by the superhero landing. I had to do this quickly because I didn't want the sun to start casting shadows and affecting everything I had filmed thus far. Shadows can make it difficult to edit clips together, but I got lucky with the weather, so it was really no big deal. Once that was done, I got a hold of a broom and used it to knock over my wife's bike. If you're wondering why her bike fell forward and not backwards, it's because the kickstand didn't allow me to push it that way. I didn't worry about it too much because I felt it would be plausible that a kickstand could withstand the initial force from the landing but ultimately fall the other way. Once I came to terms with that, I made the soccer ball fly away and created the swaying effect of the branches and leaves on the trees. I then got a fun disc slide to fan the little bush in the back. It's a small bush and a small moment in the scene, but I felt it was important to add that little detail. After I finished that, I dropped the branch from the tree and headed over to the planter to make it fall off the hook. Luckily, it landed on its base as I wasn't looking to destroy the plant. I think it's important to note that each time I filmed an item, I held still for several seconds so I could get enough background footage for editing. Number 5. Editing. Once I opened up Final Cut Pro, I uploaded my long video and found my favorite superhero landing pose that my daughter did. Then I found the camera tilt clip and reversed it and added it to the beginning of my timeline. As you can see, when I add these 2 clips together, they line up perfectly. After that was complete, I added those key background clips in my timeline, placing them at the exact time spot I wanted them to appear. Using a mask tool, I simply masked the broom out of each one of the background clips and queued them up to happen at various times within milliseconds of each other. The only background activity that happens after my daughter runs out of the scene was the planter falling. Once I had that all lined up, I wanted to focus my attention on my daughter's running to a landing superhero pose. It would probably have been easier to just cut out one freeze frame clip to use as the starting point of this landing out of the sky section, but I actually backed it up 5 frames and masked out each of those frames so that you can see her growing into the movement. It's a very subtle detail, but it adds to the believability. Next, I keyframed the position and scale of my daughter from 0 to 100 to make her appear smaller in the sky and growing larger as she came in for the landing. I also added some color correction to make her appear lighter in the sky and darker as she got closer to the ground. I further tweaked it by adding a directional blur to her so that she continues to become more in focus the closer she got. For the most part, everything lined up perfectly, but I was faced with certain editing challenges at times. For example, my daughter passes through the soccer ball, the tree's leaves blowing, and the branch falling. Even the bike's handlebars passed through a piece of my daughter's jacket. In these situations, I just added a separate masked out clip of my daughter, which was a little bit more work, but nothing to worry about. Number 6, special effects. The special effects were fun to add to the superhero landing and really added to its value. There were 3 special effects added: the energy lightning ball that my daughter appeared from, the ground breaking as she landed, and a window shattering in the back. I was lucky to find a free green screen energy ball on YouTube for her grand entrance. All I did was remove the green with the keyer tool and resize the energy ball to my liking. I then added a color effect so I could add a bit of blue to the look. Once that was done, I added in some lightning as a starting point, which was a nice way to direct the audience's attention for what's to come. Then, I decided to have the ground break apart when my daughter landed because it looked to me like she was punching the ground. I further enhanced that moment with a ground shaking effect called earthquake. Again, I was lucky to find a free green screen ground crack clip on YouTube that fit nicely, but I wasn't completely happy with it. I felt it needed some real dirt and grass to go along with it, so I went out to my backyard and filmed myself throwing dirt up in the air. I mixed that into the ground clip and then added a little smoke to enhance the moment further. I even used the same clip reduced down to fist size and laid it on top of my daughter's hand so that once she removed it, you would see dirt and smoke emanating from that moment. To make sure everything fit perfectly, I masked out my daughter to flow through the moments as she leaves the dirt behind. To wrap up the special effects, I wanted to add a window breaking moment in the background. 3 times the charm, as I found another free clip on YouTube for the glass breaking clip. This was a bit tricky because I had to line it up perfectly and then track it to land on the front porch that you could slightly see behind the bushes. I then had to mask out the bushes so it appeared that some of the glass actually went behind them and not in front. To enhance the video and believability further, I boosted the saturation and added a Pixel Films color grade number 3 to deepen the color with a blue overtone. Then I added a handheld effect to make it look like someone else filmed the superhero landing effect. Number 7, sound design. What good would a superhero landing be without some great sound effects? I started off with a boom sound followed by a lightning sound effect. Then I added in an electrical noise effect for the energy ball. As my daughter was landing, I added in a shuttle landing and arrow sound effect and finished it off with a boom when she connects with the ground. I was able to use the original sounds from the bike falling and my daughter landing, but they are being masked by the more dominant special effects sounds. The one original sound you can hear is from the planter falling. In addition to those sounds, I added in the glass breaking, burglar alarm, which was triggered from the glass breaking, and my favorite, the bird chirping. If you listen to the bird carefully, it almost sounds like he or she was complaining because of being disturbed by all the noise. And that's how you edit the superhero landing in Final Cut Pro. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and check out some other videos on our YouTube channel.